It is one M.
Thank you.
It is one. Okay.
You better come back.
My name is Elisa Beck, and I sent an email to Mr. Little to ask to be on the agenda tonight, but I don't see my name here. I think there might have been a few more people here tonight. I wanted to thank the people, the 27 people that came to Sustainable Monroeville last night, along with the panelists from Protect Penn Trafford, Women for a Healthy Environment, and Food and Water Watch. A special call out to Doug Shields, who has been very helpful in helping us to educate all of ourselves about this very concerning issue of seismic testing, which we know leads to fracking. Thank you for mentioning Dimock, Pennsylvania. I saw Nick write it down. It was on the front page of the newspaper. Oil and gas catastrophes have been on the front page of the newspaper day after day after day after day. I know a lot of people don't read the newspaper anymore, so they're not really sure where the shale gas play is fitting into what's going on around the region. I showed my husband the frac tracker, that's FRACTRACKER, view of the 10,000 wells in Pennsylvania, and we're right on top of a lot of valuable resource for people that believe that the extractive economy is still around and that it's really a viable thing. People that don't really understand that we're moving towards a regenerative future. I'm going to give Linda Gatos a brochure on the social costs of fracking. Maybe you can take a look at that, camera. It's
Put it in the middle.
where the tape is. Middle,
right there, right where that tape is.
The social costs of fracking, with the petitions sticking out that I'm going to also give to you. The social costs of fracking are a big deal, and I know that's not considered to be. Whoops. I want to hand you this too for the record, these two pieces.
Thank you.
I have a question for Mr. Ratcher about the document that I gave you the last time. I'll put that here for viewers who are not in the room or who may not have seen this, but it's the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania assuring us clean water and fresh air. Mr. Ratcher, this decision on June 20th from the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, how does that apply to the shale play in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, potentially?
Well, it upheld the effect and intended effect of that particular section of the Constitution. So what it essentially said is, to the extent that there are these issues are rightly raised and can be raised under that article of the Constitution.
So it may be potentially that fracking is not even ever allowed again because of the situations such as are still happening 8 years later in Dimock, Pennsylvania, where the residents don't have clean water?
I would say that we don't know yet, because it hasn't. When I say we don't know from a legal standpoint, because what the Supreme Court said in that case. Obviously, there are going to be more cases, and what the Supreme Court says in subsequent cases is going to determine which way it goes. But that particular provision definitely pointed toward the idea that that particular provision of the Constitution can be used in terms of opposition to fracking.
Beautiful. We're thrilled about that. I wanted to ask Mr. Gressok, because many of us really want this exact ordinance to be put in place that we provided from South Fayette, the exact ordinance. We're really concerned that it be the exact ordinance. And Mr. Gressok, you told me, Elisa, we can go over it line by line. And so I'm glad, Mr. Ratcher, that you're providing us a cheat sheet. We still haven't seen the ordinance, but...
I said that I meant September's meeting.
Okay.
At the September work session, yes, line by line,
we'll be going over it,
Okay, so,
once it's advertised, because at this point, it's not advertised yet. This council's not made a motion to advertise it yet.
okay, so we just want to be really clear that we, the citizens, are interested in fully protecting ourselves, our health, and our property values. Ourselves, our health, and our property values. And momentum is building here now. I'm saying this out loud. Communities are coming together. So even though we're sitting here in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, I believe that this is the tipping point. I believe that if companies such as Huntley & Huntley and the gentleman who is sitting behind me to my left stayed outside of the donut hole of Allegheny County, that they probably could have continued to get away with everything that they have been getting away with. But they're crossing the line as they attempt to come underneath Monroeville, Pennsylvania, and into the multiple communities in the 200-square-mile area that they're planning, that they're hoping to do seismic testing in. There is momentum building, and we're all very concerned about this. We are very concerned that this council is stalling.
You want to wrap up? You've gone over your 5 minutes.
The last exhibit that I want to put in front of the people of Monroeville, the last 2 exhibits, the last 3 exhibits on camera are the League of Women Voters of Pennsylvania, Shale Gas Extraction and Public Health, a resource guide, and also the Straight Scoop on Shale Drilling, a conference that's coming up that the League of Women Voters is promoting on November 13th in Pittsburgh. This is just the beginning. Protect Our Home from nopetropa.wordpress.com if you need more information about where this is potentially heading. And the Smell Pittsburgh app. If you smell stinky air in Pittsburgh, you can go to this free app on your phone and report stinky air. We don't need any more stinky air. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jay Wright. I live in Monroeville on Tilbrook Road, and I only have a couple quick questions. Mr. Ratcher, did you find out who has the mineral rights to the parks?
No, I've not determined that yet.
Okay,
I'm still trying to get all the documents together that represent the land that is the park. I've got most of the deeds, and obviously, we have to go back through prior deeds really to find out who has the mineral rights.
Okay, well, the reason I'm asking, we have wells in the park.
Yes.
In December, Mr. Mangini was one of the people that bid it. In December of 2004, he bid against Actagon, I believe it is, okay?
Yes.
So obviously, the park has mineral rights, am I correct?
Yes.
Well, everybody should check their deeds. My deed happens to be exactly as the park's deed. We don't have coal rights. That doesn't mean you don't have mineral rights. You need to go downtown and check, because everybody's saying nobody has mineral rights. I think the residents of Monroeville need to check. Because if the park had mineral rights, many homes in Monroeville had mineral rights. The deeds are exactly the same. I happen to have an old deed, and I've looked at it. But I know he thinks we have mineral rights. Am I right, Mr. Mangini? Because you bid for the rights in 2004.
Well, that was, we didn't do title.
You have to come up to the microphone and talk if you're going to say
I'm
something.
sorry, sir. Thank you.
At the time we made the bid, we hadn't gone into the title at the time. We would have run title should we have been the successful bidder before we made an investment in the property. So I don't know.
Well,
After God got it, I assume they ran title.
Actagon does, so we had the rights. I'm just saying, I think everybody should check, because you may have the mineral rights. You don't have coal rights.
Right.
But that's 2 different things.
Correct.
Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you.
I'm sorry you had to wait here a long time.
That's okay. Anybody else like to address council?